Yo, what up? This patch Triple G buffed two things of interest, Winter Orb and Occultist. The Winter Orb buff in itself doesn't do much for us, but the way I built it here makes Winter Orb an absolute powerhouse. We're going hybrid life energy shield, power charge stacking, triple curse occultist. I know you'll be asking, but why Winter Orb over BV? In terms of damage, once you reach full overlap, Winter Orb will do significantly more damage than Blade Vortex at equivalent budget. You can also shoot from a range, which makes the build overall better for bossing. This build has been designed with softcore trade in mind, so that's how I'm going to approach this guide. It's a generalist, you can do absolutely all content without changing anything. One moment you could be farming TFT vouchers in Atoll, the other you could be insta-skipping Awakener's 9 phases. So why did I go Occultist? Well, we want absolutely massive area of effect. We're at over 250% here in this guide, and Occultist Forbidden Power gives us just that. Occultist also gives us a lot of cold damage and negates Maven Witness Boss Life Regen. It also gives us freeze and shield immunity, which saves a flash slot or boots prefix. And of course, an extra curse. Winter Orb being an elemental projectile, we get absolutely immense scaling from Frostbite and Elemental Weakness, as well as Sniper's Mark. And we also do get some damage reduction on the Ascendancy. So far, it's been an absolute blast, and I'll go ahead and show you a lot of footage of the build in action and what you can expect from it. Headhunter is absolutely not needed, and even 100% Darius maps. But I honestly have no idea why you would want to farm 100% down maps without a Headhunter. But here's the gameplay to show you it's perfectly fine and performs really well. In order to make this video as short as possible, I've written down all the information in two different paths of building. If you're not using the community fork POB, you won't be able to read my file, so I'll link you the software in the description of this video. In terms of budget, you can expect performance like what you're watching right now, spending roughly 60 to 70x. But I made the starting version of this that would allow you to farm tier 16 maps for about 15x, and I'll show you gameplay of that version later in that video. To me, the fun of this build comes from two different things. The first is the amount of upgrades that will feel amazing and keep you engaged and make you want to play more and more. And the second thing is, just reviving Winter Orb has been so fun. Lots of people used to love that skill, but it was just kind of a meme, but it's not anymore. Okay, so now I wanted to go over the gems and the way I just link everything for people who don't want to spend time going over passive building and just want to see how I arrange my gems and all this, what I use. And for this, I'm going to be using my level 100 character, level 100 Winter Orb. It was so fun to just level it. So let's just go in terms of gear. So here, void batteries, of course. And you can just follow what I'm doing. So Diversion Smoke Mine, this thing gives you extra cast speed compared to regular Smoke Mine. So I just like the extra cast speed, always feels good. Linked with Second Wind and Flame Dash, so you have more cooldown on it and it just feels smoother. In terms of helmets here, I have Herald Device, Enlighten 4, Zealotry, and Hatred. Now, if you want to use those two big 50% aura, you need Mana Reserve on your helmet, Enlighten 4, and then Sovereignty on the skill tree. In the other one, I have Sniper's Mark, Frostbomb, and Arcanist Brand. So it's all automated. When you have a boss, you just drop your Arcanist Brand, and it's going to alternate between Frostbomb and Sniper's Mark, giving you a ton of damage without having to self-cast anything and just worry about your positioning and manipulation of Hydrosphere. In terms of chest, I'm using Winter Orb. Inspiration, I always love Inspiration in terms of reduction of mana cost. I feel like even though it's not the biggest damage gem, the fact that it gives you all this this mana cost reduction feels just great. Like everything is smoother, and so that's why I recommend doing Inspiration. Infused Channeling, Power Charge on crit, Awakened Greater Multiple Projectiles here. This is going to be a big upgrade, but you can just go with GMP first, and once you have the money later down the line, you can get this gem. It adds another projectile, which is a lot of damage, so keep an eye on this whenever you can afford it. And finally, Awaken Control Destruction. Again, you don't need the Awaken version, but this one is not too expensive. It's like 3x, and it's pretty fast to farm these exalts. Rings here, I have like some specific rings, and I have a written guide on how to craft them. In the POB, everything is written in the notes. I'll go over the passive building and how to use it next. So a big damage and Frostbite, and this one is same exact ring, but Elemental Weakness instead. This one is huge. Now we have kind of a defensive setup here with cast damage taken, Immortal Coal, increased duration, and Righteous Fire. Vol Righteous Fire, sorry. You will not be using Righteous Fire. We don't have any regen on this build, so just the Vol part you want. And finally on the boots, Efficacy, Inspiration, Arcane Surge, and Hydrosphere. So here the way I use Hydrosphere is kind of a weird utility, kind of targeting, clearing skill. I clear with it. I manipulate my balls a lot during my maps. I feel like it's very snappy, very reactive. When you just like flame dash into a pack, press your button, the ball will come and just kill everything in its wake and explode the entire screen. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because after playing Blade Vortex for so long with some very like sleeper playstyle, I feel like this one is a good hybrid between active playstyle and also you don't have to use Hydrosphere. You can just like right click Werb and just go. So yeah, this is the part. Now I wanted to talk about the gameplay. Lots of people have been confused about me using Smoke Mine and Flame Dash, and they wonder like, why do I need Smoke Mine? So first, Smoke Mine gives you a lot of movement speed, and it's also a great movement skill. So the way I use it here is you want, of course, always attack without moving on both well, the mine and detonate. So I put detonate on my left click. When I'm mapping, I just pop my flask and I lift my left finger, and when I want to detonate it, I just like click the left finger and then I can stay on. So it's a really good combination. You don't have to use it. I feel like it's just a great movement skill overall. And that's pretty much it. Now let's go over the passive building. So, I don't know if you're familiar with the way I do my POBs. First, in configuration, I will click a lot of things, but this is all things that will be up, right? This is all realistic stuff. Some people decide to not click anything, which I don't agree with, because that's not how I do things. This is the damage you can expect on bosses. So you will have fire charges, you will have frenzy charges, and inspiration charges. You will be elusive, you will be on consecrated ground, cast spell recently, blah, 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 blah. Now the notes. In any of my POB, anything I post, the notes is the biggest thing. This is bigger than what I would do on a forum post. I explain a lot of things. So here, for example, I talk about the budget, I answer a few questions, the upgrades, because most of you will start with the 15x version. Here, this is what you will be upgrading, because when you start at 15 and you follow some of my mapping strats, you will be able to afford more and more upgrades. So here I explain what you upgrade first and why, and also if you have like several upgrades at the same time. For example, when you have a badge, you have to change 2 more items. I've been saying on stream, whenever you finally get your badge of the Brotherhood, it's kind of like dating in your 30s. First, you will only find single mother, single mom, and you have to take your kids with her, okay? So the first kid will be the Doriani Jewel, so you can get Corrupted Soul, and the second kid is going to be an Explodey and Frenzy chest. So there it is. I explained everything here. Then later, when you will be investing more into the build, I explain all the harvest craft. So here, the rings, the helmet, the boots, the gloves. So all of this, you have to read it. All the data you need for this build is going to be in there. The leveling, I explain, of course, like what you need to pre-buy, the items you want to buy before you get started, and then like all the setups you have until you reach like level 34 and 38, where it's pretty much just the end, and then you can just follow the POB. Here, if we go to the skill tree, I also included the leveling skill trees. So 33 points, you start like this, and then into 59 points, and so on and so forth, until you reach the end game. So here, a few things I wanted to touch over is the cluster jewels. Cluster jewels is something that gives us a lot of power, and not many people know about this, but for example, when you have 3 notable jewels, there's like the last stat, so the suffix will be here on top. So the best jewels for this build would be Blanketed Snow and Vengeful Commander. Those 2 are prefixes. So the goal here is to get a jewel that has an extra notable as a suffix, so you can save 2 points of pathing, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total. But when you only have 2 notables and you pick them, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can save 2 points here per cluster, and it's very interesting. Now, something I want to touch on is this part here, this Corrupted Soul, Glorious Vanity. So here you can get for 1 point, Revitalizing Frost. It's really hard for me to say, I'm French, I'm sorry. Now, this is pretty hard to find, so you can maybe search for it on TFT or try to divine it yourself. It needs to be in the name of Doriani and then Revitalizing Frost. It gives you your Cold Leech. Now, if you have this, if you roll this for 1 point, that means you can drop Doriani's Lesson and go with another Vengeful Commander and Blanketed Snow, giving you more damage. So again, this is all that we need. I don't think I need to touch on many more things, but Watcher's Eye here is pretty simple. It's just Hatred Flat, which gives us a lot of damage. More damage than Pen, more damage than cold damage, more damage than crit. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a very simple one that you need. I also wanted to talk about the damage. So here we have a number, 2.5 mil. You invested a lot here in this build, and you're wondering like, why is it so low? Well, this is per projectile. With Awakened GMP, you're gonna have 8 projectiles, so you multiply this by 8, and that's gonna give you the total DPS when all the overlap happens, and it will because you get good enough radius. Again, everything is clean. We have the gem setups. No Righteous Fire enabled. Of course, if you have it, it's gonna absolutely nuke everything. And that's pretty much it. Now I will go over and show you the budget version, the 15x. I have some gameplay video for you, some gameplay footage, and then from then on, I will be just ending the video, and hopefully you will enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, watch the cheap version. It's pretty good. Okay, so here, this is the cheap version, even though I know 15x is not that cheap. There's one thing I want to say though. I feel like if you can make it here to 15, maybe anywhere from 15 to 20x, then I have the right tools for you to farm all this money every few hours, depending on how much you can play. But also first, I wanted to talk about the Anoint. Lots of you might have some issues in terms of survivability. Here, what I recommend is literally just Anoint Disciple of the Unyielding on your amulet. That will give you Endurance Charge generation. You can also get an extra Endurance Charge on your skill tree by Templar. So you will feel the difference between 4 Endurance Charges and 0. It's a big, big boost. Now, okay, let's talk about the mapping strat, how you can go from this character, which is, as you can see, very good to farm. Some red maps, some low tier maps. You can do Series 6. I've done Series 8 on it, Deathless at level 85. So let me talk about like the simplest, most busted strat of this league. This is all in Valdo, so this is again the Harbinger. Now, it's not what you expect. To me, one of the best right now Valdo strat is to just Alk and go on tier 9 to tier 10 maps. So you have Dark Forest, which is tier 9. You also have Ashenwood, Canyon tier 10. So you don't need any uncharted territory. You don't need to finish your Atlas. I would still recommend that you get at least, you know, double preferred map system, so you get the one that you prefer. Canyon is really good. Ashenwood is also really good. Honestly, all of those maps are really nice. So you keep just 2 Watchstone in there. You don't need to have any specific Watchstone. Just Alk the map. You can buy a pool on PoE Trade if you don't have a pool yet. Just buy the map, Alk it, open it, rush the Harbingers, and then you just pick up your loot. Like, you leave the map as soon as you're done with the big Harbinger pack. You pick the Ancient Shard, the Exalt Shard, maybe the Mirror Shard if you're lucky. And then you just leave the map and move, like open another one and get more cash. I've seen a lot of people in my chat do this, and so at this point it's been confirmed depending on how fast you are. If you're on the slow end of things, you will be making anywhere from like 2 to 3x, while the faster players, without Headhunter and all this, right, of course, those guys, they're making like anywhere from 5 to 6 Exalt an hour. So honestly, if you start with the 15x version, I feel like it's going to be a breeze to blast those tier 9, tier 10 map. Is going to give you good experience as well until you hit like level 92 or so. But yeah, honestly, this build from start to finish has been a ton of fun. If you have any additional question, you know where to find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/somad. And there's a lot of people here in my chat, in my Discord, who played the build. I played the build myself a lot, and we'll be able to answer your questions. But honestly, if you read the notes, if you watch the video, chances are you won't have any more question. So yeah, honestly, like, just reviving Word was such a blast, man. You know, me going with the Winter Orb very early into the league was, initially I wanted to revive my Twitch channel because I took a long break in December, and I know Twitch viewers love seeing streamers suffer. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna play Werb. Everybody says it's pretty dog, and turns out I was like, wait, okay, and it kept getting better and better and better. So here we are today. I'm pretty sure Winter Orb has its own place in the meta that is not just a meme. It's not something that is just strictly worse than BV. It has its own set of strength, and honestly, it's just really beautiful. It's just a really hard-hitting skill. It scales to absolutely, like, to absolute mountains of just fun and blast. I don't know, one of the best one. Anyways, that's the end of the video. This is the 15x. You know where to find me. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, that was a nice little atoll. That was so mad, and don't forget to subscribe and comment if you like it. Bye, everyone.